Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Lauren. And on my channel, we mostly talk about anything luxury, but we also discuss lifestyle and beauty. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please consider subscribing to my channel and we'll get started with the video. So in today's video, I'm presenting you a super exciting unboxing from Goyard. I feel like I've been waiting forever to actually purchase this and then unbox it on my channel. Here in DC, there's no Goyard store, so I had to actually make it out to New York City to get this, so that makes it even more exciting. I just purchased this a couple of days ago, but I was just like so into it that I couldn't wait to unbox it. So if you're curious to see what it is, then please keep on watching. Alright, so let's start right away with the most exciting part, which is obviously the unboxing, and then we'll move on to why and how I precisely got this item. The shopping bag is huge. It is just so strange looking. I really wasn't expecting that. I feel like it's very, very thin, but it's like so long. It's quite strange. So let's go ahead and open it up together. I'm so excited. Like I said, I only purchased this a few days ago, but I already can't wait to see it because I've been waiting for such a long time to get it. And we have my item that comes out. So as you can see, or as you can probably tell, it is a bag. By the way, let me know if at this stage of the video you are able to tell which bag I got just from the shape of it. Personally, this is my first Goyard item ever. So clearly I am not an expert, but if you are, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to find out. So let's open it. The sticker right here. Sticker, open yourself. And then we remove the packaging. And then we have what appears to be a dust bag. So the dust bag is strangely wrapped because the item in itself is not in the dust bag. This is quite weird. I feel like for every item that I unbox on my channel, you know, I'm kind of like in the known about what it's gonna be like because I've unboxed things from this brand previously or because I've seen the essay package it or something, but here I'm like completely discovering this with you guys. So here is my beautiful bag that I got. I am so excited. So the bag that I got is the Goya Sandwich tote bag in size PM and in color black or noir. Alright, so I removed the protective tags and the stickers and all of the packaging to talk to you a little bit about why and how I got this bag. Let's start with the why first, because this will be the short part and the how is going to be a very long part, I feel like. So let's start with the why. So this bag is intended to replace my everyday bag. So my everyday bag currently is the Yves Saint Laurent East West Tote in black. I've had it for 3.5 years and we're really starting to see some damage on the edges. So right here on the edges of the bag as well as on the handles. The leather is kind of like starting to rip and starting to come off. And even though the bag is black, it is starting to be something that you can see from pretty far away. So that's no longer a bag that I feel super confident wearing out and about in public. It is still a bag that I feel like I'm going to use for work because I'm a preschool teacher, so I don't really need to impress anybody at work, especially not my kids, but also not my colleagues. I feel like the bag is practical. It really doesn't matter if it's, you know, starting to rip a little bit. That means the bag is even more carefree, so really I'm going to keep that bag for work. But I was looking for another everyday bag for, you know, everyday errands, for doctor's appointments, for groceries, for, you know, pretty much like everything and anything else. I would even say like first dates because I wouldn't feel comfortable like showing up with a Chanel bag on the first date. This would be perfect because it's a bag that's nice, it's a designer bag, it's a designer brand. The bag is obviously like brand new right now and I'm going to keep it, you know, nice looking for as long as possible. But it's also not like $10,000. So that's what's nice about this bag. I feel like it can fit a whole bunch of different situations, as well as different seasons. I mean, I got it in black specifically because I wanted to be like a seasonless bag, so to speak. I want it to be a bag that could be used, you know, all year round and with all different types of outfits. I tend to wear a lot of black, even in the summer. Right now I'm looking at myself on the camera and I'm like, wow, you're wearing white. And I'm like trying to like pat myself on the back, like, you're doing such a good job, you're wearing white. This is so surprising coming from you. But yeah, I mean, I wear a lot of black, so that's something that I know about myself. I am trying, for that reason, to find a color that would match well with black, and what matches well with black is another black. So this is going to be super duper practical. I kind of went back and forth in the store with a couple of different colors, including summery colors. There's a very, very beautiful blue, but for me, it just didn't make sense to get a blue because all of my wardrobe is black, so it wouldn't have been something that I would have been able to use that much. So that's kind of it for the why I got this bag. Alright, so now let's move on to how I got this bag, and here you might want to go get yourself a cup of coffee because I feel like it's going to be a long explanation because it was very complicated to get this handbag. So if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you probably know that I live in the suburbs of DC. And here in this beautiful capital city of this beautiful country, we do not have a Goyard store. Not at all. Not even like Bloomingdale's or anything that might possibly feature any single Goya item. So for that reason, I had to turn to other locations that supplied these beautiful bags. So I went to look around on the website, and my first thought was, okay, well, there's no store here. I'm going to order it online. And you know, most designer bags will feature like complimentary returns and like free delivery and all that. So that was my first initial thought. And then I went on the website and I saw that they did not offer shipping whatsoever, that it was impossible to buy online. I tried calling the store in New York. They said they did not take orders over the phone, that they wouldn't ship the item to me. I started to be more and more annoyed, and so then, you know, I had to kind of realize that I looked at the store list, and the closest one, which in my mind is still like super far away, was New York City. The other one would have been Miami, but that is even further away. So I went with the one in New York, and you know, I thought about it for a very long time. Is it really worth it for a handbag? Can I wait to go there on like a weekend trip or something, or any sort of like occasion? But truth be told, like, I didn't see myself having an occasion that would take me to New York anytime soon. Not for an event, not for a weekend, not anything like that. So I decided that if I really, really wanted this handbag, then I would have to go to New York and go get it myself. And so that's what I kind of did. I took my car one morning, very bright and early at 6 a.m. and I drove myself to New York for the day to go pick up this beauty. So after about 4.5 hours of driving, I arrived in the city on a Sunday morning. I had precisely picked a Sunday because I didn't want to face the traffic, and thankfully there wasn't too bad of traffic. So I arrived maybe 20 minutes before the opening of the store, and my initial thought was, okay, you know, you're gonna find a bathroom, you're gonna go get a cup of coffee, and then you're gonna come back. And so I randomly like passed the intersection where the store was at, and I saw that there was already a huge line in front of the store for like 20 minutes in advance. There were like 5 people who were lining up already. So I decided to forget about the bathroom break and forget about the cup of coffee and then just simply wait in line. And I am so, so glad I did. I would highly encourage you to wait in line early if you can. If you're interested in going to the New York boutique and you're from out of town, or you're only there for a day or something, I would highly encourage that you're there at opening time and even before then. And so now the interesting part is that when I actually arrived in the store, I had in mind to get a totally different bag. So the bag that I had in mind to get was the Goyard Tote bag in size MM, and probably in this color. So I think I definitely stuck around with the same color, but I completely changed bag models. So I had in mind to have the Artois tote bag, because in my mind it was a really structured handbag, and it is a very structured handbag. And I know myself, I know that I love structured handbags. So now you're probably thinking, well, why on earth did you decide to get this one? It's obviously not structured. You know, when you move it, since it's been folded for a couple of days, you can see the lines and everything. Why would you have gotten this bag? And when I first saw the Artois tote bag, I really did not care for it. It is that simple. I actually did not like the bag. I really did not like the closure system. So over here, it is a tote bag that doesn't have a closure system. It's completely open. And the Artois one has like a zip. Honestly, it really didn't look good. I felt like it looked cheap. It looked kind of odd to have that zipper system on the handbag. It just didn't have a good look. And then, so I had mine to get the size MM, and when I saw it, the bag was huge, like gigantic. And you know, if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that I am super tall. I am 5'11" or 180 centimeters. And even on me, the bag looked gigantic. So I can't imagine if you're like 5'2" and you're like petite and have like a small frame. I mean, that is ridiculous. But then when I tried on size PM, which is a size smaller, then that was like half of this handbag. So really, it wouldn't have been practical for me. I would have barely been able to fit, you know, like a sweater, a water bottle, and kind of all of these essentials that are normally associated with running errands and kind of being, you know, out and about for the day. So I was really disappointed when I first noticed that. So after seeing both Artois sizes and handbags, I kind of had this like panic moment where I thought to myself, like, I can't believe that I dragged myself all the way over here in New York City. I don't like the bag. I don't know what to do with myself. The essay was starting to get impatient. I could tell that he was trying to be polite and nice, but he was also getting very impatient with me. So that's when I remembered from earlier, from like seeing, you know, reviews on YouTube and kind of like seeing pictures on Instagram, that there was another bag model which was similar, which was called the Saint-Louis bag, that was less structured, but then about the same look. So I decided to ask for it just in case, you know, just in case, you never know. And so he asked me which size, he showed me the other size, which was again gigantic, so I knew that I didn't have to even try. And he showed me a Saint-Louis handbag in size PM. And honestly, I can't tell you that I fell in love with it right away. That would be a huge lie on my part. I kind of looked at it and was like, maybe, not so sure. So I really loved the size of this handbag. The size was really perfect. I loved also the fact that there wasn't like a zipper, that it was like an open tote bag. For me, that was super convenient. The one thing that I was very scared of, and that I, to some extent, still am a little bit concerned about, was the lack of structure of this handbag. This is obviously, you know, a bag that can be folded. It is a bag like that has no like structured bottom whatsoever. So I know myself, I know that I don't like unstructured bags. So what I'm planning to do is add a bag organizer at the bottom to add more structure to the handbag. And I think that that will work nicely. I also don't plan on carrying like super heavy items like a laptop or books or anything, so that should work. The one part where I'm still a little, you know, iffy is these lines over here, these little folding patterns. Because the bag has been folded for like a couple of days, and I'm sure in the store even more than a couple of days, you can see these lines, and in my mind I'm like, oh my god, what if they never go away? What if it just doesn't look good? There's also the concern of like, after placing the bag organizer, I'm assuming the bag organizer will probably come somewhere up to here, that you will see the difference between the part that has the bag organizer and then the part that doesn't. So that's still something where I'm like, a little bit iffy. And so finally, the last part of this, how I got this handbag and this me being in the store for what seemed to be 55 hours, was after I had decided on getting the Saint-Louis tote in size PM, I still had to figure out the colors. And my initial like thought was deciding in between black, which is this one, and then gray. There was also, as a side note, a very beautiful blue color that I had looked at on the internet. It was a color that, you know, I didn't really feel like I would have gotten that color and I'm glad I didn't, because for me, this is obviously like an everyday bag to run errands. And that particular shade of blue was so bright and beautiful that it was going to be a summer bag. This was actually a handbag that I featured on a fairly recent video that I published on my channel called Bags That Are On My Radar for Summer. If you're interested in seeing my other choices, then I will go ahead and leave the link to that video in the little information link over here for you to see it. So that's why I didn't get that blue color. It was wishful thinking, but it wouldn't have worked for year round. And then I also don't have a lot of blue in my wardrobe, so it wouldn't have worked. So my choices were either black or gray. The gray is probably like light gray. I would say that it's somewhat similar to the kind of gray that is on the Goyard book tote. That's definitely the thing that I can think of that's the closest. And this one. So this one is black. I felt like it was like the classic version of Goya. It was the classic color. It was, you know, the iconic one. So I kind of went for it for that reason. And I had like such a moment of doubt in the store. I felt like I went in between both for like an eternity. I mean, that essay was getting so frustrated with me, I could tell. But at the same time, you know, I had just like driven 4.5 hours and I was gonna do 4.5 hours back to DC. So for me, it was worth the wait, and it was, you know, worth it to be picky in the store. But yeah, I ended up with this one because it is classic, and I think that it works with more outfits than the gray one. And in retrospect, I'm very, very glad I did. This, after all that it took, all of the efforts, all of the deciding time, all of the hesitation, is, I think, one of my favorite bags in my collection for now. I'm so excited to be wearing this because I think I waited for so long to have it, and then also because I actually feel like this is pretty needed. You know, I can't say that I need another like Chanel bag. Of course I don't. I already have so many. I don't need another bag. I don't need another color of these. But here, this is a bag that's actually going to replace a bag that is, you know, wearing out and being old and will, you know, soon be sold. So I'm super duper happy to have gotten this bag. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that it was fun for you to see me unbox this bag and that you got to see my excitement. I'm still over the moon for it. I absolutely love it. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.